Hello everyone, this is group number 6 for the track MPP. The group member consists of Shrawan, Adhikari and Saroj. I'll be now explaining the entire workflow that we have designed as part of our project library management system. So to start with, I'll go through the use case diagram. Basically we have three kinds of user. The first one being admin, the second one is librarian, which is a member as well, and the third user can have both admin as well as the library role. To start with, the flow starts with admin, wherein the admin user can first be able to log in, and based on the authentication credentials that he has provided, the system will then validate the credentials and allow to log into the system. The next task that admin is allowed to perform is viewing the members of the library as part of the library management system. And again, during the authentication, it can of course fail. As part of viewing members, then the admin has the privilege of adding as well as editing the books. But the catch here is the admin cannot do the checkout of any kind of member, whereas the admin can of course view the books and do add books. So this consists of the role that the admin will be playing as part of the library management system. The second use case is of a librarian, wherein when a librarian logs in, he will again be authenticated. So based on the credentials he has provided, the login action will take part. Upon login, the checkout system he is able to view, so wherein all the details of the books that has been checked out by any librarian he will be able to see, being a librarian. He can then add checkout entry of a new books that is being checked out, and finally he can also display the list of he can also view the list of all the books that is available as part of the library management system. I'll now be continuing with our class diagram that we have designed as part of the solutioning part. So this is what our class diagram looks like. So we have several entities as part of our requirement, which basically starts from the major entity being the book and the library member along with the user. The user first, after logging in, all the details are being captured in the user, and the user, there is a dependency between the users and the library members which will be carrying out the entire checkout process. And then the next major entity being the book, wherein all the book has multiple copies, and at the same time the book will also be having authors associated with it, and there's a borrow rule associated with all the books that is available as part of the library management system. Again, for all the users there are addresses that is saved as part of the process. And to start with, when the system starts, there are various roles that are assigned to all the users. So basically we are dealing with three roles here, one being the admin as explained earlier, the second one being the librarian, and the third member which will be having both the roles. Now let's start with our flow, the actual flow, wherein the first use case for our project is the login screen. I would like to explain by showing the login screen. So this is the sequence diagram that we have designed, and as our system performs based on these many steps, which is being demoed here as part of the sequence diagram. So we have our entities named as LoginFX controller, and there are respective services which communicates with the DB. The first controller is LoginFX controller. So when any kind of user comes to the login screen, the system prompts for a password and the username which the user will be providing. If the login is successful, as in the user has provided correct credentials, that is being validated, and the user is then fetched based on the user ID that he has provided in the database. The next step is for us is the authorization level. Now meaning the user have successfully been logged in. There's a negative case wherein if the user has provided invalid credentials, the system will deny the login and prompt appropriate message. There are validations as well for capturing both the fields before proceeding further. Now based on the success, we have we are checking the authorization label, which is nothing but the role association. So if the user has a specific admin view, then based on that view, the landing page, the dashboard is of admin, wherein I'll show it in the system as well. Apart from that, if the user is a librarian, the landing dashboard will be the librarian view. I'm going to show it on the system now. This is the default login page, wherein if we directly come and click on the login without providing any kind of details, it will prompt for entering the username and password. And I will now be providing the username. In this case, we have kept as admin, and if I give wrong password, the system will prompt as in that's a negative case and invalid credentials. Now I'll be providing the correct credentials. Right, for this user we have kept 2 roles for this user, as in the user has both the admin as well as librarian role. We wanted to showcase what happens if the user has both the roles. In that case, we are prompting this selection, and the user has to select which role he wants to proceed with, the first role being the admin. So this is the default admin view, wherein he can see all the members, he can add new members, he can go to the books section, he can see all the books what is being listed in the library management system, and he can add new books as well. The second use case for our project was the adding a new member to the system by an admin. So this is the sequence diagram that we have designed as part of the system. The admin, after logging in, clicks on a save button, wherein there will be various fields that is to be captured. So the admin has to capture all the fields. The system then validates for all the mandatory fields. If all the fields are successfully captured, then there is a call which is being made to the service, and subsequently the call goes to the DB and the user will be saved. At the same time, the system will save a copy of the book, save the details of the library member as well. Upon successful message, we are then prompting a message showing that the member has been already added, and we are clearing all the contents. Now let's go through the screen. Yes, so this is the member screen as we saw earlier. In this screen we are able to see that there are only 2 members added. Now we'll be capturing all the details and trying to add a new member basically. If you see, there are various validations included. We have to capture all the mandatory fields. I'll quickly try to enter all of them. And I will put some contact as well. Street number is 1, zip is 2557, state is Iowa, city is Fairfield. And if you see, as designed on the system, we are mentioning you want to capture a role. So what kind of member are you creating? If you don't select any kind of role, it will by default create a library member with no login access. In this case, I will create a librarian or the admin one. Anything is fine. I'm just clicking on the save. Now if you see, as prompted, user saved successfully. Now that member Tom has been added. If you go back to the all members, you can see this has been added in the runtime. So this covers our second use case diagram. Thank you.
So this is Shrawan here. I'll be explaining the remaining sequence diagram 3 and 4, regarding how librarian can check out the books and also add the existing copies for a particular books. So the next one is sequence number 3. Librarian will check out the book for a member. Here we have a add checkout controller where librarian will enter the member ID and the book ISBN number. So once he hit the source, it will go to the user service to check whether the member ID is present or not. It will find it in the database, and if it's present, and then again we'll go into the book service to find all the available book copies for the particular ISBN. We'll hit the database and get the result once we get the result, we'll populate all the book copies on the UI for a librarian to select, and after the selection he can hit add new checkout record book, and it will update the book availability to false, and then we'll save the record into database, and after that we'll just clear out the form. Yeah, that's it. So I have a member ID 1, and then 900 I have pre-inserted these records. So member ID 1 is checking out book with ISBN 900, and it sorts. I can get the book. So if this doesn't match, I say to no book copies are available, and if there I say some random member ID and source, sorry, member not found. So I have the member ID 1 and the book is 900, and please select a book copy to proceed. So I select the 2, and then the date here, let's say 16, and then hit save. So it will show me the records. Like, so this is the sequence diagram showing how admin can add multiple copies for a particular book. Here we have a add book controller where a librarian can source a particular book by book ISBN number, and then it will go to the book service and get the book by a particular ISBN, and also like get all the book copies for a particular book, and then it will populate the drop down for the multiple book copies, and then librarian can add a new book copy by providing a book copy number and click on add book copy. So once he does that, it will go into the book service to save a book with its copies, and then it will be stored in the database and will clear a book copy form. We can see that here in the demo. If I go here into add books, now from here we can do both. We can add new book, or we can source particular book by providing the ISBN number. So I have added one book with ISBN number 900. So if I hit source with this, then it will load this book and its particular copies. Now I can add more copies. Let's say we also have the author field here, and if it doesn't match and we need to update the author, like let's say it's not the author, this is the author for him, so we can also update the author here. And I can add the new copy here, like let's say I did 2 copies, and then I can hit save, and then it will add the book successfully. So but we haven't we can also add new books from here, and also add copies for existing books. So apart from this, we also have some optional cases to work on this project. Those are like the first one is we should be able to add a book to the library collection. So here, this is the admin view. We can go to the book tab and add book. So let's say JavaFX and 901 and FX author. So this is the FX author. Like I can select the previous author also, and I can select any copies. Like if I don't add any copies, it will prompt me with an error. I need to select at least one copy. Let's say that copy number is 1, and copy number 2, and I can hit save. So the book saves successfully. I can see the to JavaFX 901. So this is the first use case. So we have the second use case where when the librarian members checked out the book for a particular member, it should display the record ID. So I hit 1 and I have like about 900. So it's then he's checking out the copy number 5. One side, so yeah, checked out book, and I guess the 5 is a new record ID created for this phone. And the third use case is librarian can check the history of checkout record for a particular member. Let's say if I hit source, and then he can know if the for particular book the due date has passed or not, like the overdue date or due date is passed, and so as yes here, and all the details regarding the book, member ID, member name. So guys, this is our project from group 6, and Shrawan and Saroj signing off for today. That's it. Thank you. Have a good day.